Time we're not funny.
No.
Celebrating 30 years of magic, the real sound of the DMV.
Good morning, America. President Trump delivers his first State of the Union overnight.
This, in fact, is our new American moment.
Touting success with optimistic words, taunting Democrats who sat on their hands. Our political team breaks down all the reaction, and Congressman Joe Kennedy, who delivered the Democratic response, is here on GMA.
Bracing for an Arctic blast, the Rockies to the Midwest and Northeast on alert. Snow causing these accidents on icy roads and major coastal flooding, now a new system moving in. ABC News exclusive, Scott Baio responding to those sexual abuse allegations. His former Charles in Charge co-star Nicole Eggert saying it started when she was 14. Now he's here live, only on GMA.
And Rare Moon Rising, the event more than 150 years in the making. A super blue blood moon in the sky right now. We're live, giving you a front row seat to this incredible sight.
Live in Times Square and Washington, D.C., this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. A lot to get to this morning. George is in Washington, D.C. for that big moment for the president, his very first State of the Union address.
Yeah, Amy, and a group of us had lunch with the president yesterday before the address. The president was saying he really hoped it would be a uniting moment. That's what he was going to try to do. But boy, that speech he chose to give did not do the trick last night. It was about the iciest reception I've ever seen inside that House chamber. Democrats and Republicans as divided as ever.
And George, the president even made news walking out of the speech. A comment he made after his address about that secret GOP memo was caught on a hot mic.
And Kennedy delivering the Democratic response live for the first time ever. We're going to talk to Congressman Joe Kennedy in just a moment. But George, some fun being poked at him on Twitter. The curse of having to give the State of the Union response. It always seems to happen. This time the question is, was he wearing chapstick, George?
Yeah, was he wearing chapstick? Was it drool? We're going to talk to the congressman about that coming up. First, our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, starts us off. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. The White House had promised an optimistic and unifying speech. Much of the speech certainly was optimistic, but from my vantage point inside that chamber, this was not a speech that unified Congress.
For his first official State of the Union address, it was an upbeat, positive President Trump.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
He boasted about an American comeback.
For many years, companies and jobs were only leaving us. But now they are roaring back. They're coming back. They want to be where the action is. They want to be in the United States of America. That's where they want to be.
And he highlighted low unemployment numbers for minorities.
African American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded. And Hispanic American unemployment has also reached the lowest levels in history.
Democrats just weren't buying it. They spent most of the night sitting silently, even as the president called for bipartisanship and unity.
We all share the same home, the same heart, the same destiny, and the same great American flag. We proudly stand for the national anthem.
The president laid out his priorities for the year, some clearly designed to appeal to Democrats.
I've directed my administration to make fixing the injustice of high drug prices one of my top priorities. I am asking both parties to come together to give us safe, fast, reliable, and modern infrastructure.
In making his pitch for his immigration proposal, the president highlighted the horrific plight of two families whose teenage daughters were killed by the criminal gang MS-13.
Many of these gang members took advantage of glaring loopholes in our laws to enter the country as illegal, unaccompanied alien minors.
But the specifics of his plan to protect dreamers and tighten border security drew hisses and boos from Democrats.
Under the current broken system, a single immigrant can bring in virtually unlimited numbers of distant relatives. Under our plan,
As Congress debates the fate of the so-called dreamers, President Trump had this message.
my duty and the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
The president took a hard line on North Korea, highlighting the repressiveness of Kim Jong-un's regime with the story of this man, a North Korean defector who was tortured and had his limbs amputated before he managed to escape the brutal regime.
Today he has a new leg, but Sung-ho, I understand you still keep those old crutches as a reminder of how far you've come. Your great sacrifice is an inspiration to us all.
As the president sketched out his immigration proposal, there was one campaign promise that was noticeably absent. No mention whatsoever of the second half of his most repeated campaign promise, that Mexico would be paying for the wall. George?
Thanks, John. We are joined now by the congressman who gave the Democratic response last night, Joe Kennedy of Massachusetts. Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning.
Honored to be with you. Thank you.
You know, watching you and the president last night, it seemed like you were speaking to two very different countries. Any common ground?
I think absolutely common ground. And look, I think part of what I was trying to articulate last night was that there's a whole wide series of issues and values that unite Americans that the second half of my speech was trying to target. Let's focus on that idea, those values, that vision. And that's a core that runs through all Americans. That's not a Democrat or Republican idea.
So what's your pitch to everyone out there who says, you know, the president's got a point. The economy's healthy. It's very, very strong. My 401k is doing pretty well, and I'm going to start feeling a tax cut next month.
Clearly, you're not going to be able to deny the fact that the stock market's gone up under President Trump, and obviously, I think that's a good thing. I'd also point out that 50% of Americans don't own a single stock, and 80% of all stocks are basically controlled by 10% of American families. So if we're using the stock market as a barometer for economic success for the entire American country, then I'm not so sure that's the right metric.
Not just the stock market, though. Low unemployment, wages starting to go up. A tax cut's going to come to many working-class Americans.
This tax cut, some parts of that tax cut are going to come to many working-class Americans, perhaps. What you're also seeing is a cut to the ability to states and localities to make some of the investments there that I think Americans have come to expect. And you're seeing a massive increase in our debt, which is going to, one, potentially lead to massive cuts to our social safety net, including, remember, we spent much of the past year trying to destroy Medicaid, which is another bedrock fundamental program that many Americans depend on in order to get health care. So press pause, understand that we are at a time of robust economic growth, fine, but let's try to find a way to make sure that we leverage that for the benefit of all Americans and not just wholly weighted towards those at the top.
You spoke directly to the Dreamers last night in Spanish. The president spoke about that issue as well, laid out what he calls his compromise plan. Are we going to get a deal before next Thursday's deadline?
Look, so we better get a deal. This is something that I feel passionately about, and I think the vast majority of Americans feel passionate about. The vast majority of members of Congress, Democrat and Republican, want to solve. We've got two big problems. One is that up until a couple days ago, no one knew where the president was on this because he kept saying different things to different people. Now we've got a plan that he has articulated. That plan, as he knows, is a non-starter on Capitol Hill. So I would urge the president and this administration to, if they really want a deal, to sit down and start hashing it out to make one, rather than throwing bombs and then saying, hey, it's take it or leave it. That's not how a deal is made.
You're the first
member
Capitol Hill. You're the first member of the Kennedy family to give a live response to the State of the Union. How did it feel?
That I didn't know. Look, I had fun last night. It was an extraordinary honor for me. It was a privilege to be able to do it. Be in a school like Diamond with the students there that are, it's a pretty special place. So I was honored to be there and hope that it's a message that will resonate.
It is a special place, the city where I was born. One final completely escaped the curse of the State of the Union.